in the open floor. Hops incredible.
Dude, those donut holes were good. I only got like 2 of them, but damn, now I'm like,
Get up, let's get ready for Marcus Maven. You're about midway to the midday with Marcus Maven. And you can call in, I lay back and just listen to Marcus Maven. So sit back and relax and watch Maven.
Break it down like this.
Woo!
Broadcasting live from the OPC Pest Services studio. Time for Middays with Marcus Maven on 93.9 The Ville. Now, here's Marcus Maven and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. It's Middays with Marcus Maven. 8150 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. And I hope your beautiful commute in was as good as mine. Great job, traffic. Great job this morning. Steve Rummage in the building. Nikki V in the booth.
It's good to be here, man. It's a beautiful day outside.
Was your commuting as good as mine this morning?
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad?
It wasn't bad. Yeah, I come in, I stopped and got me a little coffee at the local coffee shop, which, by the way, I need a coffee shop sponsor. So I drink a lot of coffee. Yeah, I want to do that.
Thought we did have one in Tyler Mount Water. This technically, well, this water.
I want one that benefits me.
Yeah. On the way in.
Yeah. So anyway.
May we live in interesting times. Nikki the Boot, what's good?
hey, good morning, guys. Wait a minute, I got my
They
sound.
want
There it is.
the boot.
I had a good commute. Some danger happened though. You ever pull out in traffic? Jeez, really. You ever like pull into traffic and you're like, hey, we got to make sure, this is a little tight, but we'll make it. Everyone behave themselves. Oh, by the way, are you like make it tighter than it needs to be, guy? Like if someone pulls out in front of you and you're like, look, it's a little.
It has the opposite effect.
Keep going, Nikki.
So anyway, I'm turning on to Eastern Parkway.
You mean speed up so somebody can't jump out or
You been with
something?
Maven again?
Yeah. Well, no, that thing where like someone like you pull in front of somebody.
Nikki,
and-
somebody's cursing you out right
yeah,
now.
I know,
No,
but
right now. They want to hear
There
us
are people on the message
That-
boards
that-
waiting for us to kill Kenny Payne.
right now.
On air
Nikki.
right now.
I know,
Every second
I know.
that
I'm
goes
sorry.
by,
I'm sorry.
somebody's saying,
Well-
shut up!
We're supposed to be 7 minutes into unleashing hell on this program.
Yeah, you're right. I'll wrap the story up. My car stalled.
What are
and
you
I had
doing?
to throw it in reverse to keep from getting T-boned.
Is the phone lines open or not? 8150 93.9 is the number. 3831 93.9 is the text line.
Good commute otherwise.
I was a little aggravated last night. I was a little aggravated.
What were you aggravated most about, Steve?
Yeah, a touch aggravated.
Give me your number. Okay, you can give me your biggest aggravation or your first aggravation that pops into your mind.
Really disliked. Really disliked how much trash Pittsburgh talked.
Oh,
And we just
oh.
took it. Really didn't like that. Yeah, really didn't like that.
Listen,
That was extremely annoying.
I've told this story one time before, I think on air, Steve.
was twitching.
Again, Steve, I promised the Maven story was going to end with Maven in a Lebanese prison trying to get Brittany Griner back home to the United States of America.
Yeah.
And the root cause of that moment, Steve, was when that I'm going to say Russian, maybe he was Lithuanian, but I didn't have a good feel. He was Eastern European, put it that way. Steve, that coach said this to me, Steve, and it led to me almost killing a kid. Steve, that coach said, and Nikki, I want you to hear this because I want you to hear it. I don't know if you heard this before, but this is what this coach said to me that almost forced me to kill somebody. You some kind of masochist. You Masochist.
I've heard this
You
story.
you take it. You take. And I was like, what did you just say to me? Because the
Excuse me, sir.
listen, his English wasn't great, but I understood for the most part things he was saying. And I was like, masochist. And he just did, like I said, he was making a hole with his hand and running a fist through the hole.
Yeah.
And he said,
Sir, I'm going to punch you in the mouth.
he was like, you
All right, I guess this is the night bitches die.
you take
Thank you, Nick.
you take pain. You take pain and you say, yes, give me more. Give me. I was like, what did you just say to me? It feels good. I was like,
Like, I'm gonna
he was calling me a
destroy
masochist.
you.
He was calling me like I enjoy to take pain, and the gestures he was making, I'm just like I don't know what I don't know how people talk to people where you're from, but I'm gonna contemplate killing you.
Violence.
Yeah. Like I was like, and the dude was like 6'10" too. I was like, I'm gonna body slam you, and they're gonna need an army to pull me off of you. You know what I'm saying? But we were getting blasted, so I kind of felt him.
That would have been a headline.
Right. I didn't want my story to end like that. But point being, that coach said that, and Steve made me think of that. Because it's like, you gonna take that? Are you enjoying this? Are you enjoying?
I was like, guys, they're hitting shots in your face. And they're talking to you. They're trash talking my coach. Someone do something.
Do something. I haven't seen. You ever seen one of those games
Last night was like death by butter knife.
where
dude.
you see guys and they obviously stop listening to the coach, but they start playing so hard that you're like, okay, they're getting some ownership now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're, just your I don't care what the coach is doing. Like it's just every 2-3 years we have players that just say, I'm not coming out the game or something like that.
Mhm.
Just one of those.
Yeah.
No, I'm not coming out the game.
I know.
You've seen that with your own two. You've seen guys get so angry that we're losing that they say, "Coach, I'm not like." Could you imagine
it was hard to watch.
Terry
man.
Rozier looking at Rick Pitino? Rick Pitino was a psychopath, and Terry Rozier looked right at him and said, "I'm taking. I don't care what you say. I'm taking the shot."
I know.
Every team we usually have a guy like that.
It's really it was really hard to watch last night, man, because it was just like it was like, come on, y'all, like somebody got to do something. Like somebody's got to, and I'm not just saying the players. I mean, look, I talk about the coaches too, man. Like somebody's got to. I think that's why you do get. I don't think it's like people just woke up this morning going insane, but like, I do think that's what got into some fans' nerves a little bit. Was it last night was the first time you were trash talked the whole game. And there's one thing we don't like to watch, and I don't like when there's a reason why in the football, the thing we say, I've said on this show and I'll say it again. I think it's very simple. Marketing team, play my music where they're walking out, play my nobody comes in this house and pushes us around football thing, play Inner Sandman, let's get to the game. Everybody's pumped.
Right.
That's easy. If you want to turn the stadium red, all that stuff, I'm cool with that. That's fine.
Yeah, do you?
But just keep it very simple to that. But it is Louisville fans do not like to feel punked. And I think people are angry today because last night was the first time you felt punked
by inferior people.
Yeah. Like I looked at Pitt and I was in my living room just like, baby's sick. It's getting better. Have you ever tried to get a 4-year-old to take medicine,
There's
dude?
nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that kid.
God,
He's just acting up.
I've been giving this baby medicine for 2 days, dude. And it's finally the only way he'll take the medicine is if I hand it to him and I say, hey, man, I'm going to count to 20. If it's not done by the time I count to 20, you're in trouble. 1,
Nikki,
2. And then
Nikki.
finally he'll take it. I'm sorry.
Steve better never let someone overhear him and his baby fighting over medicine. Because what I'm telling you is it's the Sixth Sense. You remember, okay, you saw the movie Sixth Sense?
Yeah.
And you remember when the kid recorded the mom making the kid sick, and it's like, no, Ma, I don't want, no, I'm sick. If you recorded his baby sounding, you would think Steve's doing something terrible to his child. No.
By the way, here, let me read you can I do this really quick on the air? I want to read you a synopsis of the message boards breaking down our show today.
Oh, God. Sorry.
I want to listen, but can hardly make out what Maven's trying to say. Great. They're talking about Brittany Griner. Well, Rummage tried to talk about Pitt trash talk, but Maven cut him off. Somebody said, Derwin Webb, the guy said, not sure what Maven's trying to say. No clue. I refuse to listen to Maven and Rummage, but I'm curious what their spin is today. If someone wants to give me a summary at some point, I could laugh.
This gets
Rummage is saying the reason fans are at a breaking point is because Pitt was trash talking us last night. You can't make this up. Do you not agree with me?
I thought that was a great point.
You don't think the coaching staff, the players, everybody, it didn't look like we got punked last night? Or before we even came on the air, listen, I've never listened to this show before. It's unlistenable. What the F is this?
I like your reading too.
Yeah,
Yeah, really, right?
I can imagine him like, what the F is this? It doesn't matter. But my point is, the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing that is because it didn't matter what we said today. There was people on here that had decided, there's a group here that has decided, hey, they're going to spin it. Whatever the spin is going to be, I'm going to be mad at. That's what the spin's going to be.
They like it.
Okay. You don't agree with me that last night it felt like players, coaches, everybody alike, we were punked on that court last night. You don't agree with that? Steve, I'm trying to get to the center of the issue of this whole situation right now.
I prepared everyone for this feeling the day of the game.
Yeah.
Steve, one of my final points was, I'm glad that Kenny Payne said this team will talk trash. This team will try to punk you. Because I knew, Steve, the talking point of practice was going to be physical, be tougher than them, because they're going to try to punk you. I said the best thing about this game is that everybody knows the same thing.
Just read this on the show. KP should be fired. By the way,
they
taking up for the people. I'm the only guy in the city that likes the message boards. So while you're kissing the rear end of people that call you idiots
all day
on a daily basis, you picked your team. I guess that, you know what that is? That's a masochist. You take it. You like to take it. These people call you idiots on the message boards. You're like, see, now they know what they're talking about.
Steve, for that to be the focal point, you know what I'm saying, of the game, and you find yourself up in the first 8 minutes of the game, you find yourself up 4 points.
Yeah.
Executed, got some good shots, right?
Yeah.
Then you going with 18-2. You give them 18-2 to run or something like that?
Yeah. I know. It's just, again, I've watched that happen though.
Mm-hmm.
Like this
not
team
with the extra.
does the same stuff pretty much every game.
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to become a pattern. I said it last week while I was taking up for Kenny Payne last week. I said, watching this team is like watching a baby on the side of a ledge. You know they're going to fall off. It's just a matter of when.
Mm-hmm.
And it's happened every game. And it happened again last night. But last night it was different. Last night they did it and talked to you about it and let you know they were doing it.
I've never seen a team get celebrated on that has won 2 games like the Pittsburgh celebrated
Yes.
throughout the game. Right?
Texas said we're the worst show on the station, and that's saying something when you have shows by Dina and Andy.
They just don't like the station then. I think that's what they're trying to say. Right?
Then lick the Cheeto dust off your fingers and turn the knob, you stupid.
Oh, I can deal it.
Sorry, that was me.
Well, guess
We'll
we'll
go for some Cheetos.
Guess we'll take up the phones. Kendra, thanks for joining us on 93.9. Fire away.
I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of laughing at you guys. But
You're not allowed to laugh. That is
Sorry,
banned.
I wanted to follow up with Steve about his, punt comment, which I do agree with, but I think they've been getting punked the whole season. But I heard him say, I guess last night was different because I guess they were trash talking with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I can think of a game where they got punked physically. What that went earlier on when the guy got in JJ's face, dunked on him, and had his dreads all in his face. And he just stood there. I forget what game it is, but
Do you think JJ is a different person from that time when he got dunked on?
I can, and I know people, improvement these days means, equates to W's, but with our squad, it's not gonna. You're just gonna have to take it step by step, and I do see some improvement in players, individual play, and then there's some that haven't done anything different from the beginning of the season, but I do see some uptick there. I do.
Kendra, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, like I said, it's not going to be enough to, get us where we want to be in such a short amount of time. But yeah, I do see some positive steps forward, baby steps.
Yeah, right. Definitely baby steps. I appreciate the call.
Okay, thank you.
Listen, the JJ thing. He took a basketball off top of somebody else's head this time and tried to punch on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you say at the beginning of the year, that was him getting dunked on like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's doing the dunking on people.
Oh, I know.
So, hey, like you said, baby steps. We won't throw a shower over it, right? We won't throw a party over it. But you know what I saw JJ doing late? Trying to encourage a trap. Get Rose up here.
Yeah.
Like last night, Nikki. Nikki's not listening, but last night the title of the show was the Final Four,
Alex,
which means I kicked all but 4 off the team last night. So I got 4 players
You're allowed to come back next year.
4 players that I can see in a Louisville uniform and not instantly be triggered. Let me get back to the phone lines. Doc, thanks for joining us on 93.9. Fire away.
But I'm curious to know which 4 players you're keeping. But, we were not just verbally abused. We were physically abused. And, all season long, Coach Payne has been trying to get these guys to play more physical, warning them that people are going to be physically punking them, not just verbally punking them. And, we were timid and intimidated across the floor. The only guy who looked like he might want to do something was L. And, he took a forearm to the chest and just looked at the referee and didn't retaliate. I guess it was good that he could retaliate and get a T. But, Rose was scared to touch the ball inside. And when he had an opportunity to actually do something inside, he just rushed through everything and, prayed that nobody's going to hurt him. Even Mike, who's a physical player, looked like he was intimidated out there because it was more physical than the heat. These are all things that, the players get talked about every day in practice about being physical. But they're just, gentle giants who don't use their size, don't use their bodies. It's sad.
It's frustrating. Doc, I appreciate the call. I'll say this. There's a difference between when you charge and then get passive, like if you're frustrated and you're not seeing the lanes and you charge somebody and then you start playing passive.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened to Mike James, right? I think he's one of the only people. He's one of the more physical people on the team. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think offensively, he doesn't trust himself, but defensively, I think he'll crash into somebody. I think he'll try to block a dunk. I think he'll play physical. He's he was one of the more physical people around the basket.
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and then with JJ, I mean, back to him a little bit. I mean, he's catching a lot more off the rim now, So I mean, I just
he's playing with purpose. He's playing with a lot more purpose.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. I think that he's a guy that's playing. Before he was so timid, but still, your point is made. 4 dudes you're even interested in seeing here next year. Like, it's got to be a total overhaul. It has to be.
Yeah.
And my thing is, and I guess that's where I differ from some people. It's like, okay, if there's an overhaul and you suck again next year, then, well, now we got my answer. Yeah.
I can start squeezing the direction. I can start squeezing the blame. I can start squeezing. I can, find the problems, fix the problems. You got too many moving parts right here to just identify flat out everything that's wrong. Let me get back to the phone lines. Alex, thanks for joining us on 93.9. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, guys? So I think just real quick, you talking about Rose. I wasn't going to bring this up, but when you mentioned it, I remember the North Carolina game. Corey Alexander was talking about how Rose and Armando worked out in the offseason.
I didn't know that.
And when they were when he mentioned that, I was like, dang. And he was saying that Rose calls Armando big brother. And so ever since like Alexander said that, I've been looking at, which that was on like last game, but I literally have expected a lot more from him. And I think in that game he showed, like you said, like defensively that he's willing to fight, but offensively he doesn't trust himself. But guys, I had a friend that got beat up in front of the school one time, and that friend, he was never the same after he got mollywopped in front of the whole school. I'm serious. Like
that happens to most people. Most people get beat up in front of school, never recover.
It's a wrap.
I don't think we're gonna recover from that just happened to us. Listen, I was at a funeral. Well, I was at a wake. I'm going to a funeral today, but I was at a wake watching that game, and it was like, wow, like I'll find more cheer at a graveyard right now. Like, this is awful. Like that. And I'm about to be real. I don't think there needs to be, I think there needs to be a change in not just players, but I think we need to get another assistant coach on that bench that brings some intensity, because watching the assistant coaches get verticals on the sideline of his team when their players were talking trash and jaw jacking and getting steals and dunking, watching assistant coaches get verticals, I'm like, I want that. Like, I want that. I want to, which I don't want to ask Nolan Smith to change who he is, because I watched Nolan Smith at Duke. He's not that intense dude. And I never watched Danny Manning coach until now, and he obviously isn't that intense dude.
You don't think Nolan Smith's intense?
I don't think he's intense. Like, I'll be honest. I've been to 4 games, and
we need to rate Ganong.
I really think we do. I really think we need somebody that's like working on like the just the intensity, man. Because I mean, you look at that. Just the staff on that Pittsburgh bench. Like, the reason why those players are like that is because that staff is like that. And so I don't know, man. I really think I don't know. I'm starting to lose hope, especially after this game. I'm being real, guys, and I don't do that, but I'm really starting to think, I don't know if Kenny Payne can do it, y'all. Like, I'm real deal nervous. Like, I don't.
Oh, listen, Alex. We're all thinking that. Right. Yeah. Listen,
I mean, I know
listen, we're all watching going, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Don't know if he's the guy.
I know. Thank you guys for letting me in. I'll listen.
Yeah.
Appreciate the call. Yeah, because here's the thing. I even said it last night. I can find things where I say, listen, coach, Kamari Lands should be able to get to the right side of the basket, jump up, and kiss it off the glass. He should be able to get low and get to a spot. So there are some fundamental things, and you know me, Steve. You should have fixed the height, the standing up straight by now. You know, listen, I know you have a whole new system. I know you have a new roster. You know, your roster construction is not ideal. I know all the excuses, right? The reasons, excuses. Kamari Lands should not be up that high driving to the basket. His footwork should be better, right? I'll do that. I'll do that with you. I'll say, coach, that his footwork should be sharper by now. You know, he should be able to get to the basket strong, and he should be using the glass around the basket. They should all be looking for angles to use the glass.
Sure.
They are not. I am disappointed in the fundamental, because that will help Kamari Lands get rolling. You know, a wide fundamental base will help him get rolling. Sidney Curry in the worst play that everybody knows, you know, that play, right? You look at Sidney Curry, and he does this little flimsy block out, right? He does this little flimsy block out. You know, the ball's getting ready to go out of bounds. You know, Jalen Withers is kind of standing up straight, which means he didn't have any balance. You know, he looks, Sidney Curry, like that, the level of intensity is, you sweep those three off the floor right there. Those are your, that worst play that is going around. Those are your three captains. And everything about the movement of that play was unacceptable.
I know.
You know, so I can just say, listen, y'all are standing up straight. It's a problem.
I know.
There's a problem.
I do agree. I do think there is something too about the aesthetics of the bench, coaches too.
Sometimes I see Nolan doing that.
I agree,
but I'm
not saying all three of them.
Yeah.
But I'm saying just the full aesthetics. Like I see Nolan. I actually do. Players coming off the court, I see Nolan jump up. Hey man, he's somebody, whatever. Okay, that's fine. And I'm not saying I don't have to have my sidelines up beating their chest all the time.
I have said it. So I said this early in the year. I wanted Nolan to be my all the time lock in defense guy. You know, because until they can do it themselves, you have to walk them, talk them, you know, guide them through. The Kenny Payne's answer, he said, we got behind the pass. He's saying, get there, get there, get there.
Yeah.
So think about it. He sees the play happening 3 passes away. Like this is 3 seconds ahead of time. This is going to end up over in the corner. Hey, it's going to come to the corner. It's going to get to the corner. It's going to get to the corner. He didn't get to the damn corner.
We had another player turn around and tell him that last night.
Yeah, that's the point. That's what I'm talking about. So when you see that, and everybody knows that, and everybody on the team knows that.
I mean, like, how can you be that player?
Yeah, right.
And listen, and I think it was Nike Sabanya or whatever that did it, and listen to him tell your coach, he can't get there. What are you talking about? And then just
coach, I'm gonna torch these kids. I guarantee Nike Sabanya, if he's not a senior, he's gonna transfer here.
I know. I thought that last night.
That's the plan. All these dudes that are killing these.
I mean, the guy on the offense was like, hey man, I heard you tell him 17 times. But he ain't gonna do it. Watch it, I'm gonna hit a couple more threes. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like I said, they're okay, standing up straight and the way they block out. It's terrible.
There's a lot that's terrible.
Yeah, like I said, I can find things to crush, I can find things to compliment, but when you say words like punked It's like I can't do anything with that. You know,
No.
like your personal pride, that should supersede all this stuff we're talking about. Regular personal pride still should supersede every fundamental conversation, every other conversation. Just your pickup intensity, just your basketball identity as a human is just so uninspiring. Who should I take up next? Billy Carl, thanks for joining us on 93.9. Fire away.
What's going on, man? Look, you and Rummage, y'all got to stop letting this team get your blood pressure up, man. Y'all got to stop, man. There's a few things I want to hit.
Can't help it.
Y'all know about
Philly.
3-4 weeks ago, I gave y'all that Mayweather quote, and it describes this team to the fullest. And I'm gonna tell you again, he said you can put a machine around it, some trainers, a team, but if it ain't in them, it ain't in them. And you've seen that last, it ain't in them. But and then people that's addressing the coaching staff, it's a lot of basketball knowledge on that coaching staff. But see, the problem is you only got one horse on that team, and you got like 3 ponies. You know what I'm saying? So next year, when, like I said, this is the hand that he inherited. This is the hand that he was dealt. But I promise y'all, next year it's gonna get better. But right now, he like I said, he got one horse. I keep Ellis. The rest of you got a bunch of ponies. You just don't have it there. So for the fans to keep getting mad and start questioning Kenny Payne and the coaching staff, man, they don't know. It's some knowledge on their coaching staff. And so I don't understand the fans that just keep. It's like they're not patient. It's like they will not be patient because they're looking at the product on the floor, but it's not enough talent on this team. That's what they have to understand. And this thing too is that a lot of players ain't got no heart. So it is what it is. This is the hand he was dealt. So I'll hang up and listen to y'all off there, man. Y'all be good.
Appreciate the call.
Appreciate it, man. Hope the Giants win. It was yeah. Texter, that's the worst. I said they wouldn't find any guards. I was like, it's not like he's going to get to the season and be like, oh man, I forgot to get guards. I'm like, it's exactly what happened. They got to the season. I was like, oh my God.
He said, no, you know what it is? Like, no, your ball handling did not increase fast enough. I expected them to be better ball handlers.
Mm-hmm.
I expected fundamentally for them to handle the ball better.
Yeah.
I mean, Kamari started coming along, handling the ball. Mike James, it's getting better. But Kendra said it's just getting better too slow for everybody.
And I agreed. I forgot I didn't say that. I agreed with Kendra. Like, there is moments they've gotten punked all season. I just meant last night was where it was so visibly obvious. Yeah.
Yes.
It was like, oh my gosh.
And again, we were prepared for it. We were looking for it. We knew what to look for. We knew what their MO was going to be. They did it. It happened right in front of us, and it happened worse than we thought it could happen. Because if that's the focus, and coach says, why would you let him do that to you? You know, and then you say, okay, well, I'm just so but I'm just so emotional about it because it's an emotional thing.
Yeah.
Johnny, fire away, my man.
Hey, just real quick to answer Billy Carl. I was calling about something else. I wanted to ask you guys a question, but real quick, a little retort to what he was saying. I mean, we got to have something to see some form of progress and see the light at the end of the tunnel, Billy Carl. I mean, that's why people are acting the way they are. Great coaches squeeze the most juice out of an orange. There's more than 2-17 on this team. This team's better than 2-17.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I was calling for, Maven and Rummage, I wanted to ask you guys. So, in a team that doesn't have the horses, doesn't have the talent, that they generally don't, play a platoon system of players. I'm curious as to why we're, in mid-January here, and we're still playing 11 dudes in a game. I mean, if you're low on talent, wouldn't it make sense to cut down your bench and play your dudes? If we're saying there might be 4 guys that need to come back next year, maybe keep 4 off this team. Why in the heck are we playing 10, 11 dudes in a game? The substitution pattern makes no freaking sense at all. And that's something that I want to point out and ask you guys. Maybe there's something I'm missing as to why we play so many dudes like we're a loaded basketball team that can just roll dudes off the bench. I mean, when we reached the first TV timeout, I thought the starting 5 was playing pretty well. There was no foul problems. I mean, by the time we get down to the 10, 12-minute mark, we've done recycled our whole bench. It just doesn't make any sense to me, the substitution patterns and why we are playing so many dudes. Maven and Rummage, please help me understand this.
You know,
the call.
I don't know if me and you agree on this or not. I'm with Johnny on that. To me, I'm like, there's no way there's more than like 7 dudes. I'm like, just you got these are my guys. This is what I'm playing. Now, if you're going to tell me later in the season, like last night, Devin Reed all of a sudden gets in a little bit earlier. Okay, cool. If you're going to do something like that, I'm with you. But like the constant, Zan Payne in the first half, we're doing a little bit of this and that. I'm like, okay, the Hersey Miller thing, like, this is not working. Let's not do that. That to me, I personally would. I agree with Johnny. I think you shrink it down and just say, hey, man, this is what I got.
Yeah. To me, listen, he did say, this is how, okay.
Of course, the injuries, Huntley had them.
This is two schools of thought. Because Kenny Payne agreed with you.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Payne agreed with you when he was asked the question the other game. You know what he said? When they said, try some more guys. He said, what guys?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe he said that.
Yeah.
He said that last, the press conference word when he said, have you think about trying more guys? What guys? That's him agreeing with you, and that's him agreeing with Johnny, right?
Yeah.
But where I say he can't do that is because when you see that Sydney Curry play in a basketball, so those coaches, those assistant coaches and Kenny Payne say, I can't leave those guys on a floor and let them do that. I can't let him get away with that. I don't care. I just put anybody in there that's going to rotate the right way. You were just standing flat-footed. What are you doing? That's the other side, Steve.
Yeah.
I got to put somebody in the game who sucks because you won't do a simple rotation. You won't box him out, Sydney. He goes around you, he catches the ball, he goes up and dunks. So, Johnny, Steve, I know what y'all are saying, but I also know what a coach is saying when it's like, I don't care. I don't care.
Well, the coach is wrong.
No, but like I said, he agreed with you originally, but his hand is forced to put somebody else in to try to give a spark, try to get some energy. I get it. I get it. I would be pissed off. I would be so angry at Sydney Curry if I'm Kenny Payne.
I know. I'm like, dude, you got 7 dudes.
Listen, Steve.
Tell the rest of them, like, thank you for practice.
Steve, I watched Jalen Withers get a steal because he brought original energy at the beginning of the game. I watched him get a steal, Steve. Took about 4 dribbles, right? By the time he got to the basket, Steve, he was falling on the ground. He barely got up high enough to slap the backboard. How is that possible? How is that possible in a human with Jalen Withers' talent that we've seen him run and dunk, right? We've seen him dribble, run, and dunk by himself. But if there's anybody around him, we've seen him avoid the contact. He melted. Okay? Would you say Jalen Withers is one of the 7 better players?
Yeah, he would probably be one of the 7.
Right.
Yeah.
Kenny Payne said,
but if it's that much worse at 8, 9, and 10, like if the drop off from 8, 9, and 10 is that bad, then I'm definitely just sticking with these guys. We're gonna roll with them the rest of the year. I mean, we're in mid-January.
I know what you're saying. I can't live in a world where I let Jalen Withers do that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to survive a world for another month and a half. Okay. I'm not trying to live anymore. I'm in survival mode.
So you're easier watching Jalen Withers do that over and over again?
Hey, you 7 are probably better. Yeah. You 7. Listen, at this point, it's insanity.
If that's the case,
you 7 are what we got.
If that's the case, I get madder at Fabio and Devin Reed. I'm
Run,
like,
jump, shoot.
Y'all can't get minutes on this.
I know.
That's why I cut it down to 4 last night. So don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I only kept 4. So
No, look, you're analyzing this
too hard.
I'm just not. I'm just like, okay, I'm already into insanity mode. So just keep doing the same thing.
Who do
just
we
play the same 7 people.
Who do we got? So you want to be insane?
Yes,
Kevin.
That's what I want.
Kevin, fire away, my man.
Hey man, I last night I got really I really hadn't got frustrated watching the team because I kind of accepted it for what it was. But last night I got frustrated when I saw the guys they just threw the game plan out the way and just started doing what they wanted to do and coming down trying to go one-on-one and stuff like that. That's what I didn't like. On defense, I've been saying this, for a couple of years, is that we're not a good team as far as playing the pick and roll.
You said for a couple of years?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't like picking on Sidney, but Sidney, he switches to take a break, so he don't have to keep moving. And then everybody else has got to scramble to cover up somebody open, and they always make the right pass. That's how you keep having these guys open, because we're switching and sticking with them. And if you're gonna sit up there and switch with them, you got to trap him so he can't just throw. I mean, he'll stick up there, then the guy throws the regular pass instead of trapping them and making them throw a difficult pass, and we're always off. And then the rest of the guys, I don't know why we just can't tell everybody, if you get beat off the dribble, you get beat off the dribble. Maybe one of the post guys come over and block it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather give up the dunk under the basket than to keep giving up these wide open threes because guys are sagging in trying to help somebody. That's how we keep getting blown out, is those threes. We keep giving up open threes because nobody wants to stick with the man. They want to quasi help, but they're not really helping. And that's the thing that's frustrating. Now, as far as playing more people, I don't see a problem with it because ain't nobody doing nothing. That's the thing that's frustrating with the team is the people that are supposed to be good, they're getting all the minutes, they're not doing that. And so you might as well play some other people. And when we actually have games, when we show some fight, come back from a lot, cut the lead down and stuff like that, is when we're pressing. You can't press with 7 people.
Kevin, we got a full bank. We got to speed up.
If you want pressure, you got to put more people in.
Yeah,
bro. I agree. Appreciate the call.
7 of them. You give pressure. You 7 give pressure.
Yo, Lock, fire away. Yo, Lock, you there?
What's up, Marcus and Steve?
Yeah, fire away.
You know what? I want to address 2 things, man. I want to address the fans and some of these comments. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. It was something Marcus and Steve said a while back. They said, "Is this what we're gonna do all winter? Is this what we're gonna do all winter?" Hey, guess what? And I'm talking to the Louisville fan base. Hey, you know what? I've been a diehard Cardinals fan for 47 years now. You know what? Listen, a caller just said, hey, they don't have no talent on this team. They don't have, so what you're saying, since you're saying we don't have no talent on this team, you saying with this same team, so Denny Crum, Hall of Fame coach, he would be 2-17? Is that what you're trying to say? Are you trying to say Rick Pitino would be 2-17? Are you saying Chris Beck would be 2-17? Remember, there's no talent. There's no talent. You cannot squarely just point the finger at the kid and not at the coaching staff. You cannot do that. You know good and damn well, I'm talking to the fans, Hall of Fame coach Denny Crum would not be 2-17.
Yeah, I agree.
Hall of Fame coach Rick Pitino would not be 2-17. Are you serious? And listen, as far as maybe the Rummage, not want to immediately get to Louisville basketball, I don't blame them. It's depressing. Are we gonna do this? Listen, guys.
Yo, Lock, are you on the message boards?
Are we gonna do this? Oh, this. I apologize. This is depressing.
I don't disagree with
it's
you.
Depressing.
Yeah.
Who the hell Kentucky was 2-17?
They were 9
can
and
say
16.
not the athletic director, not the head coach, not the assistants. All of them will be on the chopping block. I'm not saying they would get fired, but for people to act like everyone's safe, man, I'm telling you, this is University of Louisville basketball. It's depressing. It's depressing to talk about. Oh, what about the game last night? Listen, I sigh immediately. I roll my eyes. And I tell him, my buddy, hey, I don't want to talk Louisville basketball. Man, I don't want to talk about that. Why? Because I don't want to be depressed all night long. I want to go to sleep. I don't want to have to wake up and have to drive this 18-wheeler and be depressed like I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
That's all, guys. Y'all have a great day.
We appreciate the call and the passion, yo lot.
Yeah, I feel you.
I feel you. Yeah, I feel you. No, like I said, it's. I don't know if it's a misconception that like the blame's going around everywhere.
Yeah, I think some just set in your mind. Some people are just blaming the players, and like blaming the players, but I mean the players are on the ones on the court. Yes, the players are a direct to the coaching staff. Yeah, like Kenny Payne's going to take some heat.
Yeah, right.
He's taking some heat,
and he got a nice week off. So
yeah, like I mean, it's and he should
right, and he knows it. Like I said, to me, I don't think he's going like victim with it.
Well, no, that's why I guess my thing has been I don't think he's getting fired at the end of the year. So I mean, if I thought he was, then maybe I would change my tune a little bit. I don't think he's getting fired. Okay. So
yeah, I wouldn't even have that conversation until I seen him.
Then it's mid-January. I'm just kind of like, okay, how can we get better? And who can he go get in the portal? Because if you suck again next year, if you go in the portal and you suck again next year and you fail in the portal and we're bad next year, you're going to get fired.
That's every job. That's exactly how it works.
Right. Like, yeah, like, so I'm with you. Like, my thing is if you don't believe he's going to get fired, and I know some people just know he's going to get fired, and I'm like, okay, well,
that's not true.
Right. But if he's not going to get fired, what am I going to do? Just, you want to do candidates? You want to do candidates until mid-March, and then he's not fired?
Unrealistic candidates.
And then we just did candidates for 2.5 months, and it was like, or a month and a half, and it's like, okay, well, now he's still the coach, so let's get back to portal. And who stays?
But the reason we're talking about the sports part of it is because they're, like I said, I think we're getting better here and getting, and we need to get better here and we need to get more talent here. And
yeah, I mean,
like nobody can argue against anybody's point. If you say it's the coach, okay, yes, it's the coach. If you say it's the players, yes, it's the players.
Yeah.
If you say the 5-year cloud has taken its toll.
Yeah.
If you say loser mentality has crept in, I can't argue with anybody. We can just talk this. We can just talk about it.
I know.
Hey, yeah, those guys have already accepted that they might be losing all year. Those guys have already accepted that they might not be in the tournament. Those guys have accepted that they're not going to get much playing time. Like, okay, yeah, but that's sports. We're still talking sports.
Yeah.
Who's up next?
Jeff,
fire away, my man.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing this morning?
Fantastic.
Texas says avoid all 18-wheelers this morning.
All right, let's check this out, man. I'm a big diehard, U of L fan, and basketball has always been the number one thing that for University of Louisville. It's always been basketball. So our tradition goes long. I mean, it's oh my God, 1980 and 86 and 2013. So when we decided, I can say we, as a university decided to hire Kenny Payne, we had all the, the cheers that we could have did a parade.
Right.
We did everything. But
hey, Jeff, can I speed you up a little bit?
All right. So where I'm getting at, so when people at work, we talk about, sports all the time. And I'm like, okay, we got Kenny Payne, but can he coach? I'm not going to jump on a bandwagon till I see him coach. And we got the press conference and all that. You got the airplane flying in. He met Denny Crum, blah, blah, blah. But can he coach? And what I'm seeing right now, he can't motivate no kids to run through a brick wall. If we ain't got talent, what do? You work on your defense and make the daggone game competitive. That's what I always seen. I hate to say it, Rick Pitino, first year at UK, they had a crappy team. But you know what? Them dudes ran through the brick wall for that coach. So is it the players or is it the coach? So right now, I cannot watch it because I get literally sick. I can't watch
Jeff,
it.
speed it up. Speed it up, Jeff.
All right, so that's all I got to say, man. I think it's the coach.
Appreciate the call.
Go Paul. Bye.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it. Priest, fire away, my man. Priest, you there? Guess not.
No Priest.
Good.
No, we got him.
Okay.
Hello?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Yeah, man, that's depressing, man. I don't know. It's only two players I would keep on this team. Number 1 and number 12. Everybody else, man, I don't know. It's like they just don't care. Curry, I don't understand. I mean, I hate calling them out, but it's like they don't care. It's like they planned it, that they don't really care. I mean, defensively, that was horrific. I just want. I don't know. If you can't get your players motivated defensively and get them to play hard defensively, man, it's a disconnect within the coach and the players. It has to be. I'm gonna hang up and let y'all go on from there.
Appreciate the call.
I mean, I definitely think that's the case in some way, shape, or form. I mean, yeah, that whatever the coaches are saying is not getting through.
Mm-hmm.
Again, so they need to change it up, or the play. Like I'm with you,
I'll say this again: the ultimate pass that I try not to give is. I heard Chris Mack say the same thing, but I still saw Sidney. Like I said, if Sidney Curry didn't play so hard against Carolina, and just play so soft other games, I would be more heavy on the coach.
Yeah,
Like, even if I made it 50-50 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd be blaming the coach if I hadn't seen him decide when he wants to play and when he doesn't. Now, here's the thing. If I want to blame the coach and say, oh, well, you got to start taking him out the game, or you got to start doing something different with the substitution pattern. Like, I can find ways to blame, but I'm like, players that only play when they want to play and they're your best players. Yeah, I'm going to have an issue with that. Terry, go ahead.
Okay. No.
Yes.
Yep. We're listening.
I have a question. I'm going to change the subject real quick because I'm curious. Last night on ACC, those guys start talking to football recruits and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying either last night was the last night you can sign up to get into the portal or the first night. I'm confused about that. But they were talking about the impact players that Louisville was getting that won from another team for a football team. Do you know how many actually from Yeovil football team this year went into the portal? Because I know Steve was talking about that one guy yesterday. He was at some other school, after the NCAA said that he can play another year. I was just curious.
Oh, well,
that's all I want to know.
Terry, I appreciate the call. See, Terry was done with the basketball conversation. Terry went large. Steve, you have an answer for Terry about the portal? How many are in there?
Yeah, a few. Nobody, but Monty is the one. Monty's the one.
The one we're talking about.
Yeah.
The let's get out of here.
Yeah.
So Monty's going to Ole Miss?
I don't know. Sydney's visiting Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and somewhere else.
He did hashtag transfer to the SIP, I think.
That was awesome.
Well, the only other person I trust in this chair is Chrissy Banta. Rolling along, 93.9 DeVille.